Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 12 and today we are starting things off outside my RV and next to this gigantic slime block that appears to have just popped up out of nowhere. It looks like Mr. Cubfan has been pranked and I believe it was Iskal that did it because I walked past the other day, he seemed to be around that sort of area and he seemed to be holding quite a large number of slime blocks, and it must have been a really large number of slime blocks because as you can see right here, there are hundreds of them. I mean, I wouldn't mind if Iskal did this to my base. I want that many slime blocks so that I can create some insane slime block I mean, imagine how much you could do with that many slime blocks. You could create an insane roller coaster. You could build a gigantic slime, as you can see right here. I mean, you could do tons of stuff. But anyway, we're going to be moving on from that today. We aren't going to be doing any slime block related bits. Instead, we're going to be working on the mob spawner that we started in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. Now, hopefully, if I walk over here, we should see this little fella load in. And there it is. Wow, it's a lot bigger than I remember, I have to say. Nice work. We did quite a lot in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. That thing is looking good. We used sandstone, we used birchwood, and a handful of stone slabs, as well as orange stained clay. And it is up there, right the way up in the sky. Nice. Okay, so today we're going to have to do a bunch of redstone. We're going to have to do the killing mechanism and also hopefully some of the storage system. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But all in all, it should be a fairly interesting episode. So let's get started. So first things first, we have got to get a ton of iron so that we can create a ton of buckets, so that we can get a ton of water to fill in the tons of dispensers that are inside the mob spawner that are going to flush out the tons of mobs that are going to be spawning on the inside of the mob spawner. Now before we do that, I just thought I'd show you, check out my resource cabinet. I have got loads of redstone or loads of red stuffs. I've got loads of ooh shinies, tons of your present, which is very funny, Christmassy, compressed lazuli, and yeah, just loads and loads of stuff. But we also have a bunch of unsmelted iron there, which is fantastic because, to be quite frankly honest with you, I have a feeling that we are running low on the iron supplies. In fact, I hope we actually have iron. Do we really not have any iron? Oh, okay, phew. I got very scared then, because this is going to take around about 3 stacks of iron. So I'm going to get smelting, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. And almost, we're getting there. We should be up to half a stack around about now. Now, there we go. Okay, I was a little bit early, but oh well. Okay, so we've got 1 stack there. We have got another couple of stacks there. I mean, this is going to use... We're going to need at least 60 buckets. So we're going to create 60 buckets right here, right now, which is probably the largest number of buckets I think I've ever created in Minecraft, apart from when I've made this mob spawner before, which I've done that twice now. So this is like the 3rd largest number of buckets I've ever had. And there we go. There they all are. It doesn't look particularly dramatic, but of course, when we get a bunch of water in these things, that is going to fill up the inventory very, very quickly indeed, which means that I'm probably going to have to set up an infinite water source inside each layer as I build it. I'm really, really hoping that my mob spawner is efficiently lit up, because otherwise things are going to get very explodey very quickly. I can just feel it. So thankfully, we haven't been killed. We haven't been blown up. We didn't get shot off by a skeleton. Everything seems to be nicely lit up. I guess I've learnt from my mistakes, because for the past 2 seasons of Hermitcraft, I have done everything very, very wrong indeed. And I've just thought of something though. I don't really want to do it in this order, because we don't have the redstone torches in place just yet, and that will actually trigger the redstone, so all of this will be out of sync. Oh, why am I so rubbish at Minecraft? Right, okay, let me just pop back down and grab some resources and everything, and then we'll link these little fellas up. Oh, it's embarrassing. So now I have the rather precarious job of running the redstone line out and then around the edge of the mob spawner and into where the redstone torches are going to go to hook up all of these redstone lines right here. So we're going to run the redstone across like this. It's going to go around that corner there. That torch probably wasn't necessary, but it's going to stay. That one's definitely not necessary. That's the one thing that really annoys me about dual wielding, is if you can't place down a block, but you have something that can be placed on top of a block while the player is standing on it, it will be placed. So I can't hold down the right click button, because then I'll have a bunch of slabs with torches, which is great if I want slabs and torches, but I don't. Anyway, enough ranting, let's get started. So now I have the rather precarious job of placing in all of the redstone torches, and as you can see, I have developed a new way of doing this that seems to work really quite well. As you can see, I'll just have to just stand on the block, and then when I want to place a redstone torch, I stand in the block so that I can't actually place down any sandstone, but I can place down this redstone torch right here. So that's basically how I'm doing it. How good is this? Torch towers are now so much more efficient thanks to Minecraft 1.9. It's excellent news. So I've just logged in with the camera account to make sure that everything is linked up, and as you can see, I am standing up on the top here, pretty precariously I might add. I really hope nothing spawns on there and knocks me off, but as you can see right here, yes, all of these things are linked up. We've got sandstone going through the middle with stone slabs on the outside. I'm sure this looks great. I'm sure it looks great, but I can't really see because it's dark, horrible and stormy. The sun's going down. This is basically the worst possible way in which I can record a video, so I do apologise for that, and I've just realised, how on earth is my guy going to get down? There is nowhere for me to go. Oh, that's not brilliant. Apologies for the fact that it's still dark and still rainy. As you can see, weather really isn't good. I think we've installed the England plugin, except it's been really nice recently in England, but then recently it has also turned a little bit rubbish. In fact, today I'm looking out the window right now. It's looking pretty awful. Anyway, aside from the weather, because I'm an Englishman, I could talk about that all day long. We're going to get off that before I get distracted. What we need to do is we need to fill in all of our dispensers with the water buckets, because of course we were going to do that, then I realised that it was stupid, then I did the thing that would make it not stupid, so now that it's not stupid, we've got to do it. So inside all of our spitties, we have got these buckets right here, and we have got one in every single one of these dispensers pretty much up to the end, and I don't really know what sort of strategy I'm going to take with this one. Am I going to have one infinite water source just down at the bottom and then I just go between all of the layers, or am I going to move the infinite water source and just fill up my inventory with buckets? I don't really know. I don't know which way would be the fastest, so let's do some testing. If there's one thing that I do regret about this mob spawner, it's building it out of insta-mineable blocks. It's so lethal. I have almost fallen through this thing about 10 times now. All of the water buckets are now in place. We have got all of our dispensers filled. So we have the water, we have got the redstone on the outside. That is pretty much everything. Obviously, it doesn't have a roof yet. You may have noticed, those of you who are a little bit observant, I don't think I've mentioned that in today's episode just yet. It still doesn't have a roof. So that's something that we're going to have to do in today's episode. But as far as like the fundamentals are concerned, obviously the roof is quite fundamental, but as far as like the general fundamentals in this area are concerned, I think we're all done and dusted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to link up the redstone along this line right here. I'm going to run it into the redstone torch towers. We're going to slam down a button and we're going to see if this thing works. Fingers crossed, I've done everything correctly. It all goes smoothly, but let's be honest, in the history of the Mumbo channel, doesn't really happen too often. So here goes. I don't have a button. We're going to do a budget button here in the form of a redstone torch. Oh, I can hear water. I can hear water. Oh, that's good. I think that's good. Is that what's meant to happen? And good. Excellent. Okay, so that's working. We have some strange lighting glitches going on over there. I've just realised I've made this mob spawner active. Oh no. That means things can spawn in here. Let's see if anything has spawned in here. I mean, they can only spawn at the backside due to the spawning mechanics of Minecraft, but let's see if we flush out any mobs. No. Okay, that's good and bad. Is that good? The fact that we haven't got any mobs spawning on our mob spawner, I suppose we're very, very close to the thing. So we're going to pass it off as that being the reasoning. But there we go. Okay, so our mob spawner is working. I can see blue on pretty much every single platform there. And then when I place down the redstone torch and remove it real quick, you can see that all of the water is removed. So this is good. Yes, perfect. Okay, this is functioning just wonderfully. It's actually worked first time. I've got a beaming smile on my face. Let's get the roof on this bad boy. Now, to do our roof, we're going to be using this old chestnut, the birchwood slabs. Obviously, most of the build is made of birchwood. If we just look up there, you can see birchwood underneath. This is a great looking mob spawner. This is definitely my favourite mob spawner I have built in a Hermitcraft season. I really like the edge going around there. I'm so glad that we chose to use slabs. Obviously, it's saved on blocks as well, so it's happy days for me. But I'm super, super happy with the way that that's turned out. So yeah, I'm going to gather up all of this birchwood right here, and then hopefully we can get enough to do the entire roof. Of course, it's going to use quite a bit, but I'm in the quite a bit mood today. In case you're wondering, I have no idea what that meant either. Just completely ignore what I said at the end of that clip there. moving on. I really like the fact that I can see my new home from my mobile home. That makes me happy. But anyway, I have got 4 stacks of birchwood logs, which should be enough to create enough slabs to cover this entire thing. In fact, you know what? I'm almost certain that we're going to have way too much birchwood here, but it's always better to have more than to have less. So let's pop up there and start creating the hat for my mob spawner. Ladies and gentlemen, the roof is on. Things are spawning. I can see some skeletons over there, so let's flush them out. I am excited to actually use this for the first time properly. Let's just chuck some redstone down and get flushed. Yes, you're getting flushed. Things are getting flushed. Right, let's see them fall out the bottom. Oh, there was a zombie. Ah, I need to take out the redstone torch. There we go. Things have been flushed. It was a bit of a slow process, but yeah, as you can see, some mobs have fallen out, and everything is happening. Things are coming out the bottom of my mob spawner because I got a little bit worried then, as I hadn't seen any mobs. But the thing is, of course, I have to point out, obviously, this is not the most efficient right now because we are standing right next to it, which means that around about this much. If you can see where I'm pointing here, around about this much of the mob spawner is not spawnable, basically, because I'm standing there. Mobs can't spawn within a 30 block radius, so they can only spawn right at the very back of the mob spawner right here. So that's one thing, and also, of course, there are a bunch of other hermits on the server right now, loading all of the chunks. But I am very, very happy to see the mobs are spawning in here, and this thing is now up and running. So now we just have to do the hopper timer and the monostable circuits, and then this will actually be working. Like, it will actually be working. It will be good to go, done, finito, completo. Excellent. Okay, so all of my hopper timers and all of my different circuits are now in place. As you can see, it was a bit of a tight squeeze. This was accidental. I didn't actually mean to make it this compact, but it sort of just worked out, and I basically worked around it, and now we've got like a super slim timing circuit that I hope is fully functional. However, I'm not 100% certain, so let's give it a bash and find out. I'm going to chuck maybe 15 netherrack in here. Okay. Oh, we got the sound of water. That did sound like the flushing mechanism kicking in. We have mobs coming out of it. That's good. I think this actually works. Well, I never. Okay, so this little circuit that I've just created here is actually functional. Look, all the water's going to come back in. All of our mobs are going to be flushed out if there are any mobs in there, which there probably aren't. Okay. Excellent. All right. I don't really know what to say other than this is brilliant. It's actually working. Cool. Okay, so this is done. All of the hoppers are done. We can clear up this area right here. We can clear out all of these blocks because we don't need them. Clear out those blocks because we don't need them. And I guess we can even clear out this sort of spiral thing right here because we don't have to go up here again. Except we sort of do because I actually want to turn off the hopper timer, as in Minecraft 1.9, if you unload a hopper timer, it doesn't reload again and it doesn't restart. So we're going to have to turn this thing off now. I left all my food at my base. How do I keep doing that? So I always throw my chicken into a chest. Oh. So once again, I am back in the desert biome gathering up some more sandstone. And in case you're wondering, this is the technique that I use to get sandstone. It is just to go underneath the desert and basically swing back and forth like this. Just like that. I mean, I probably have enough sandstone now to do what I need to do, but this is just too much fun. It's just too much fun. In fact, I often overfill my inventory. Like, I don't have enough space for all of the sandstone, and I'm still going, because there's nothing better than just flying through a ton of blocks in Minecraft. Instamine is one of the greatest things in Minecraft, and I'm so glad that it exists. So now what we're up to is we're building the killing platform. So this is where all of the mobs are going to be landing once they've fallen out the bottom of the mob spawner. They're going to be landing down on the bottom here, and on top of this we're going to have a bunch of birchwood planks. We're going to have birchwood planks in the middle. It's basically going to be like a replica of this design up here, and on top of this thing we're going to have a bunch of minecart rails and a bunch of hopper minecarts going back and forth, picking up all of the mob drops. Now, unfortunately, I get the impression that I'm not going to be able to do the whole minecart rail thing in today's episode, simply because I don't have enough resources right now to build that many minecart rails. So I think, whoa, that was so very close. Anyway, continuing on, yeah, I think what I'm going to do instead of building that is I'm going to do a mining session in the hope of getting enough resources to create the minecart rails in the next episode of Hermitcraft. But I think it's a good idea to build the platform right now, and we've still got a way to go, so I'm going to crack on with this. So the platform is almost completed, just a few more birchwood slabs to go in now. Hopefully I've actually got enough. Let's see. 29 to go. Yeah, we should be absolutely fine. So here is our big platform for the killing. It's pretty large, and I only had 2 torches, so this thing is going to become overrun with mobs extremely quickly. So when I come back up here, I'm going to have to be super prepared. But now around the edge, what I was thinking is I would have glass going all the way around like that. Then on top of that glass, I'll have stone slabs. And then inside this area here, obviously our minecarts are going to be going around. But I'm almost thinking I was going to put iron golems in there to kill off any of the mobs that survive the fall, but obviously they'd stop the minecart. So this is a little bit tricky, but I think it would be definitely smart to put a board around this thing, just in case, you know, a few mobs do survive. They're not going to come over here, land in my nether portal, start killing me and blowing things up. I think that's probably for the better. So yes, we're going to place in this safety guard going right the way around the edge, and wow, things have really got very dark there. So while I smelt up all of that stone there to create the stone slabs to go around the edge, I thought I would take a look at how the mob spawner looks now that we've got the killing platform in. Because of course, it looked pretty good beforehand. We can't currently see it from our house. Let's load up the chunks and see how it's looking. Now, one thing that you just have to remember is, of course, that crazy zigzaggy spirally thing isn't going to be there for the entire time. But It looks like a mob spawner. That's the only thing that I can really say, is that it looks like a mob spawner. Now we have some lighting darkness things. I don't know what they're called, but they're like lighting errors. So that looks very, very dark indeed. But we should probably light up the sides of that. So maybe I'll grab some glowstone and solder it in there with the glass. But yeah, it looks good actually. It looks surprisingly good with the thing connecting them. It would almost look strange without that. Am I going crazy there? Like, I feel like if we don't have that spirally thing, which we're not going to have the spirally thing, it should have something coming down perhaps on both sides. Maybe that could be something that's done in the future, like a maintenance hatch type thing. But anyway, yeah, that looks really good actually. That looks really good. So let's just grab all of the stone slabs. We'll grab some glowstone as well to light this thing up. And then hopefully our killing platform will be all done and dusted, bar the actual picking up mechanism, the most important part of the killing platform. Can't have everything you want. Okay, so now this place is looking absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. There is our killing platform, and it's by far the fanciest killing platform I've ever had for one of these mob spawners. In fact, this entire mob spawner is by far the fanciest iteration I've ever done. This is the most effort I've ever put into decorating the thing, making sure that everything looks good. So hopefully you like the way that everything is looking right now. But now we have to actually move away from all of this. We have to move away from this sort of thing, because we're going to be doing a mining challenge once again, in the hope of getting enough resources to actually do all of the minecart rails. As I mentioned earlier on, it's no real rush, because this thing isn't going to be up and running until we start using the Minecraft 1.9 snapshots, because at the minute in Minecraft 1.9, if you unload a hopper timer, it just completely stops working, which is really bad for a lot of things, including this and the Iron Titan and everything, and all of the automatic farms that we're using. So yeah, we're sort of struggling a little bit here, but that basically means that we don't have too much urgency in terms of getting this thing finished, but I do sort of want to get the entire killing platform done. So let's start the mining challenge. Once again, it's going to be an hour-long mining challenge. Let me know down in the comment section how much stuff you think I'm going to get. Now I'm going to get down to business. So in today's time-lapse chat, I want to talk to you guys about making Hermitcraft episodes, because that's something that I don't do particularly often. Obviously, I make Hermitcraft episodes all the time, but I very rarely talk about the process of making a Hermitcraft episode. And I thought I would chat to you guys about it because, you know, it's one of those things that some of you sit there and you don't really know how this all comes about. You don't know how these episodes are created. You just see the end product of the episode. And I think sometimes, for some of you anyway, it's quite difficult to see the amount of time and effort that is put into each and every episode that goes out. Obviously, recently I've increased the number of episodes that I put out each week from 2 up to 3. So I've basically added 50% more Hermitcraft each week, which is something that's gone down extremely well. A lot of people are very happy about that. I'm happy about it as well, because it just means that I get to make more Hermitcraft content, and I like to make you guys happy, and it makes you guys happy, so that makes me happy, everyone's happy. It's all brilliant. But in terms of actually making the Hermitcraft episodes, first off, it starts with a plan. Now, you guys know, this is a fairly well-known thing, that I have YouTube books. You can hear it right here. I've got it right in front of me. This is the YouTube book. Look. Physical book. I know, pretty amazing for some of you that books still exist. But yes, I prefer to use books as opposed to online things or online notebooks. I like writing things down in books. So I've got my YouTube books, and inside those YouTube books, I tend to write out the plan for the episodes. So for example, in front of me, I actually have the episode plan for today's episode. So, Hermitcraft episode 11. This is actually episode 12, but this was the previous episode of Hermitcraft. So it says, begin work on base area, go into forest, pillar up to Y equals 160. That's where the death platform is going to be. Then pillar to Y equals 200. Build the spawner, get the 5 platforms, and then the killing zone down underneath. Now, I didn't actually manage to make the killing zone, but that was basically my plan for the episode. That's what I had written out, so that's what I knew I was going to be doing. So first off, I plan, then probably the next day, I tend to plan like a day in advance. The next day, I hop onto Hermitcraft and I record. And I tend to record throughout the day, but in general, my actual recording time is probably about 4 to 5 hours, which may be surprising, but it involves a lot of resource gathering. It involves, obviously, a lot of playing Minecraft, and a lot of things take a lot of time that I don't do on camera that a lot of you don't really realise. Like, for example, all of the resource gathering and the gathering of things. So I record all of it. That's all good, having a great time, and then I edit all of it, that all comes together, and then of course I upload it. So the whole Hermitcraft process is not necessarily long-winded, but it does take quite a long time to make each episode, but that's the way that I like it. I like to make sure that I put a ton of time and effort into these episodes so that they're enjoyable for you guys to watch, and I hope that you do enjoy them. So there we go, that is the Hermitcraft process. I just thought I'd chat to you guys about that. Let's hop back onto Hermitcraft. Now, unfortunately, due to time constraints, I am recording this clip right now directly after recording the clip before the mining session, and I am yet to do the mining session. As you can see right here, my inventory is not filled with millions of diamonds or anything like that, so you'll have to watch for the end of the mining session. I'll put a clip in of all of the resources that I managed to get. I'll probably chuck them all into the resource chest so that you can see all of that. But I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Hermitcraft. It's been a lot of fun for me. We got a ton of stuff done, loads of redstone, loads of various different bits and pieces. Really happy with the progress that I'm making on the Hermitcraft server right now. And as I say, in the next episode of Hermitcraft, I really want to get this killing platform finished, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But unfortunately, that's all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.